Welcome to Tech Topics brought to you by Cybervenger. We help keep small businesses stay protected and compliant with cutting-edge cybersecurity and IT solutions.
Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Andy. I'm the managing consultant for Cybervenger. Today we're doing another deep dive into the 110 controls of the NIST 800-171 standard. We have an entire video on what that standard is and why you want to follow it. Go check that out on our YouTube channel. It's very important for anybody doing business with the Department of Defense or thinking about it, or anything federal for that matter. This control is 3.5.2. Now this one's another one of those controls. It seems like an exact duplicate of 3.5.1. We're left with wondering why the heck did they bother creating this control? Did they just really want to have 110 controls they're trying to stretch? No, I think the philosophy here is anytime you see what appears on the surface to be a duplicate control, the framers of NIST are trying to point out some subtleties that people miss. It also doesn't help that NIST is designed to be a generically worded standard that can apply to other technologies that come out in the future. They're not trying to play brand favoritism. Everybody uses Microsoft, right? But NIST can't say Microsoft out loud because they're picking on a company, and it's just the way things are done. You're trying to keep it generic, trying to keep it theoretical. It's a principle, right? You're trying to be academic about it rather than call out a specific vendor. Here on this video, on this channel, we can name names, talk about vendors, talk about actual technologies currently in use, and help describe that. So that's what I'm going to do. This particular control, in fact, let's go down and look at it here. We'll compare and contrast it. So 3.5.2 just says authenticate or verify the identities of users, processes, or devices as a prerequisite to allowing access to the organization's systems. Okay, sounds straightforward, not a big deal. But if we go back to 3.5.1, which we just did a video on, identify system users, processes acting on behalf of users and devices. I mean, it just sounds like someone took 3.5.1, schlepped it into ChatGPT and said, hey, can you fluff this out? And then you end it with another paragraph that says basically the same thing. But as I point out in many other videos, that's kind of a trap. You want to think about, okay, what are they really trying to call out here? There's got to be something, right? What's the story behind this? I think I've got it. I've been in industry a long time, and a lot of people don't remember the old days of DOS and Windows 3.1 and 90, even 95 and 98, and God forbid Millennium. All those operating systems had something in common. You could launch the operating system and get to your user interface to command the machine itself without credentials. Now, Windows 95 and 98 would pop up and ask you for a logon. That was more of a suggestion. It's more like, hey, by the way, who are you? And you just hit cancel and you log straight to the desktop. Because that technology existed and we've seen it before, the standard wants to call out the concept of that sort of thing happening. It doesn't have to be a Windows desktop. It could be any device that you could just pop on into. Maybe you've got a display control that runs a CNC machine, and that display does not ask for a password. You need to have a password there of some kind of way to identify yourself if it touches CUI at all. So any systems in the future that maybe aren't necessarily Windows, I mean, I can't imagine what they would have in the future, and that's the point of this, trying to be generic, right? But hopefully that gives you kind of an understanding of some of the history there. And I still see this today. Even Windows 95, believe it or not, there are manufacturing companies out there that will still have Windows 95 machines in their environment. Why on God's green earth would somebody do that? You will find very typically some kind of really beefy, massive, expensive tool that makes the thing. Maybe it's a laser cutter, maybe it's a press brake, some kind of metal bending system, or a CNC machine. And a lot of those, they cost $100,000. And when you're a small shop, you don't want to throw away a $100,000 investment just because it's a little old, and you're going to keep throwing $5,000-$10,000 at it to keep it moving if you can every 5 to 10 years. And you end up with these computers that will control this thing, and the computers never get touched because they have specialized drivers or special software, or maybe the vendor stops supporting this unit because they want you to buy a new one, and people are like, well, I'm not blowing $100,000. Let's see if I can get 2-3 more years before I have to spend $100,000. And that's big money, right? So you end up with computers that are dinosaurs sometimes. I've got clients of mine that are running Windows 7 machines all over the place, even though it's not supported. You can't do that. And we have to take all kinds of steps to isolate it to its own VLAN if it needs the internet, or just completely keep it off the network, and all kinds of compensating controls to deal with that. And some of those clients don't have Windows 7. Some of them are XP. And yeah, some of them go all the way back to 95. It just the system works. If you can maintain the press brake by replacing a few bearings and such and off-the-shelf stuff, even the company that made that thing went out of business, that happens too. Why not keep going? I mean, save yourself $100,000. It's very important. So, in fact, it's an old machine. As long as it does the job, if it ain't broke, I fix it. But then you end up with situations like this. You got to have some way to prevent desktop access to the system at all without identifying who you are. It's not enough to put, and this is key, it's not enough to put a password on the application. So I've seen people, they've got the Windows 95, they log in with no credentials, that violates 3.5.2, but they bring up their ERP program, and the ERP program asks for separate credentials. Even if it's unique to that user, that would satisfy 3.1, or 3.5.1, but not satisfy 3.5.2. So that's an instance where this control would apply, if that makes sense. So a little more history than probably any of us care to talk about, but it does illustrate the point. And if that technology and that way of doing things existed once and is still out there, maybe someone's going to build something like this in the future because, I don't know, people don't care about security as much as they should, sadly. So that's all I got for this control. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.